Curious, as these teams start to take shape in 2023 and then 2024, like what was your leadership style in conjunction with a player like Caitlin, but also the rest of your teammates?
Yeah, I would say like definitely those first 2 years, we definitely were working together to like, I was definitely more of like the calmer presence and being like, hey, like look me in the eyes, you know, deep breath, like it's all gonna be okay. And I think like the leadership style that I really had was just like trust. Like she trusted me because she had seen me like putting in the work in the gym. She knew how much I cared. Like,
what's it like being best friends with the biggest name in college hoops? Kate Martin knows, and she's spilling everything. From Caitlin Clark's jaw-dropping plays to their off-court comedy, yes, including a wild squirrel cameo, Kate takes us deep into the chaos, charm, and camaraderie of Iowa basketball. Slam dunks, inside jokes, unforgettable moments. It's more than a game, it's the behind-the-scenes brilliance you didn't know you were missing. One thing's for sure, Iowa was anything but boring. Let's run it back.
At around 139 games, like that seems like a ton of games, and lucky enough we've had postseasons where we've got a lot of extra games, whether it's been the Big Ten tournament, whether it's been the NCAA tournament. We've been able to have some long seasons, and that's something I'm really thankful for. And to be honest, like I don't think I have the type of career if I don't have a teammate like Kate. She's been one that has had my back. You know, she holds me accountable, I hold her accountable, but I think at the same time, like me and Kate are wired so similarly that like we get each other on a different level. She's so competitive, you know, her dad was a football coach growing up.
That era? Pure legend, straight up folklore status. And at the center of it all was Kate Martin, the heartbeat, the hype squad, the soul of the sideline. She was the floor general, the locker room therapist, the team mom, and the certified prank queen. Kate didn't just play basketball, she lived it, with a kind of high-octane passion that made you want to dive for a loose ball from your couch on a random Tuesday night. She wasn't just part of the game, she made it electric.
Because you were the first person who I felt like said, yeah, Kate Martin's a pro. Like, draft Kate Martin, she's going to be able to do different things. I think you started saying that you're either sophomore or junior year. And, you know, media members aside, I'm not, you know, maybe it's me, maybe it's not me, not going to throw myself under the bus here. We were like, you know what? I think she could be a fringe WNBA player. She has potential, but, you know, Caitlin's given her endorsement. If there's one thing I've learned about you in covering you for 4 or 5 years or whatever, how long it's been, when you talk ball, you genuinely talk basketball. Like there's no personal relationship attached. So I guess, how do you feel about Kate doing really well and unrivaled so far? And now she's getting a chance at the Valkyrie to really make a statement.
Now she's out there living her WNBA dream, like a real-life sports movie where she's not just the star, but also the director, the cinematographer, and yeah, let's be honest, she probably curated the soundtrack too. Kate Martin wasn't just a leader on that Iowa squad, she was the glue, the vibe, the heartbeat. While Caitlin Clark was out there pulling up from the logo and bending the laws of physics, Kate was the one making sure the scout was locked in, the energy stayed up, and yes, everyone stayed hydrated. She didn't just support the team, she defined it.
So Caitlin Clark revealed her squad goals, sort of. This is a play on words, a pun, if you will, just having a little fun with Caitlin Clark's latest interview. She did an appearance with, I believe his name pronunciation is David Eichel of Swarmcast 24/7 Sports. I will link the full piece in the description.
Whenever Iowa needed a stop, a spark, or just a perfectly timed sarcastic one-liner to cut the tension, Kate Martin delivered. And now, she's in Golden State. You know, the House of Splash, where hoops IQ is as prized as a 40-inch vertical. Could there be a more poetic fit for a player built on brains, grit, and unshakable hustle? She's already slicing through defenses like a hot knife through miscommunication, drilling corner threes like they owe her money, and setting bone-rattling screens like she's getting paid by the bruise. In other words, she belongs.
Like, what did you notice about Caitlin's like work ethic?
Yeah.
Was there anything that stood out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she was in the gym constantly.
Yeah.
And it was like the way she approached everything too was like, it was like with a sort of excellence. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go through the motions and like whatever. It was like, no, like I'm here to kick your butt in every single drill, every single practice. Like, and especially whenever our like gray squad guys were playing against us, it was like, if you're across from me, you're my enemy, you know? And like, I think that's just kind of how you have to approach things to get better. And she had that, next level mindset, and it really just raised us all up with her.
Yeah, I feel
Sure, the Warriors have the glitz, but Kate Martin, she brings that Midwestern grit, that corn-fed tenacity that says, I boxed up for 14 years before I even took a shot. And that draft night? Straight up Hallmark movie material. She wasn't even expecting to be picked, just showed up to support Caitlin Clark, probably thinking she'd clap, cheer, maybe sneak a Sprite. Then boom, heels clicking, walking up to shake Kathy Engelbert's hand like, wait, me? It was the most wholesome plot twist in WNBA history. And Vegas? Oh, she thrived. Of course she did. Kate doesn't do background roles. Even as a rookie, she stepped into that Aces locker room like she'd been there since Bill Laimbeer invented defense. Real minutes, mid-practice drills, whatever, it didn't matter. Kate brought that Big Ten mentality, no excuses, no off switch, and absolutely no weak sauce. She won over Becky Hammon in about 4 seconds. The vets? They love her because she does the dirty work that makes the magic possible. She's always in the right spot. She communicates like a point guard with a PhD in calling out screens. And she treats turnovers like they're lava, untouchable.
The workout or training video, I've discussed how Caitlin Clark is going to have time to work on her game that she otherwise hasn't had before. She went straight from college to the pros, grueling schedule to start the WNBA season. It's a scary thought for the rest of the league. I've articulated that on many occasions, but she said it herself too, which of course adds fuel to that. And then the other was Unrivaled and Kate Martin's performance at Unrivaled. Kate Martin has looked great thus far at Unrivaled. Obviously, Kate and Caitlin have a bit of a relationship.
Then came the move to Golden State, and that's when the basketball gods made it official. Yeah, she's one of our favorites. Because in a system built on movement, instincts, and split-second reads, Kate Martin is basically a living algorithm. That's why she's got a full-on fan base rocking her jersey, even when she's on the bench, because they know she gets it. She gets what sports are about.